Today, we remember the powerful work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who fought hard to preserve the best of America's principles and values. Dr. King urged all of us to serve, to stand up for things that matter, and to always do what is right. More than 50 years have passed since Dr. King's assassination, and yet his words still ring true today. He told us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Dr. King had a dream of a world where everyone could prosper and thrive, where everyone is treated fairly and with dignity and respect. His actions helped to change the course of history, and they continue to inspire us decades later. He called each of us to action and asked what we are doing for others. We honor his birthday with a day of service. Dr. King would be proud of our community's renewed focus on justice and equity. This past year, Frederick County government officially created an Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to ensure that we are doing our part so we can lead by example. Everyone deserves to share in our community's prosperity and fully participate in civic life. We accomplish this through our demonstrated commitment to provide equitable programs, policies, and by embracing diversity and inclusion in all that we do. And now I'll read a proclamation in honor of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Whereas the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. continues to inspire generations of Americans who, like King, dream of living in a more equitable and loving society. And whereas we all owe a great deal of debt to Dr. King, who bravely stood up against the injustice of his day, mobilizing thousands of ordinary Americans in a decade-long crusade for civil rights that succeeded in securing voting rights and many protections against discrimination for African Americans and ushered in a new era in American history where every citizen, regardless of race, color, or creed, could learn, work, worship, and participate in public life together as one. Whereas we seek to honor Dr. King, who would make the ultimate sacrifice, giving his life for the cause of racial and social justice. And whereas we seek to continue Dr. King's important fight today in our own communities as we work towards ensuring opportunity for all, fighting racism wherever we encounter it, and rooting out all forms of discrimination as they still exist. And whereas we know our continued service and commitment to the mission of freedom and justice for all is the greatest tribute we can make to his life and legacy. So now, therefore, as the County Executive of Frederick County, Maryland, I do hereby recognize January 17th, 2022 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in Frederick County and commend this observance to all of our citizens. And it's signed by me, Jan Gardner, the County Executive of Frederick County, Maryland, and presented this 17th day of January, 2022.